For many years, Zambia's creative industry has remained untapped. Although the industry has potential to contribute to the economic growth of the country, the sector has not received the attention it deserves. This week on News In Depth, Macpherson Nukuka looks at opportunities and challenges in the art sector. I'm your host, Masauso Mukwayaya. Stay tuned.
Art is one of the major industries which has potential to grow the Zambian economy. The country has vast talented human resource which, if properly nurtured, could advantage Zambia in attracting considerable amounts of foreign direct investment. Undeniably, art has a close link with the tourism industry. Therefore, the industry is a sector with budding economic potential, with art crafts, theatre, film, and the publishing businesses standing out as the sector's best prospects of contributing to economic growth. The art industry comprises the creation, production, marketing, and distribution of products and services resulting from human creativity. These include performing arts, film, paintings, among others. And because of its prominent role of human creativity in shaping the direction and volume of employment, it has important implications for both development and socio-economic growth, especially in developing countries. Zambia is increasingly beginning to focus on the artistic sector as potential contributors to economic growth and job creation. However, the strength of this sector depends on its capacity to improve competitiveness and to help Zambia to diversify its economy.
We need to have this talent coupled with training. And once we have training, then we are assured that we'll be able to see much more quality products, much more quality productions, and a sustainable growth in the industry.
While the range of skills and the specific cultural features of a country are requirements for successful expansion of the arts industry, creativity is becoming fundamental to spur development strategies. Different art disciplines present a variety of opportunities at both individual and national level. The performing arts, for instance, give the players an opportunity to grow morally and socially while earning an income for themselves.
It's not just the art, but there's also health issues in it. So people know how to stay away from other vices that will destroy their lives. So mainly they spend time here, and when we're together, we share ideas. Everyone contributes. Everyone can come up with a song, and we chip in. We develop the song, and at the end of the day, we perform it, and the people like it. So everyone has an opportunity, but it starts from the scratch.
In a country that is progressively dominated by photographs, music, books, films, and paintings, the art industry is slowly becoming a leading growth in social integration. Film production in Zambia is among the many art disciplines that are slowly becoming major employers, especially for young people.
A film industry is vibrant in Zambia, which means you also have a vibrant catering industry, you have a vibrant, all those will be supporting the industry. So a lot of opportunities which open up, which create a lot of employment.
It's an industry that can support the environment, and it can contribute to the development of the industry, especially for the young people, the youth, everyone, women, any person, inclusion of whatever background somebody is coming to. It's an industry where you don't have limitations. The only thing you have to have is the focus, the talent, and the passion and the drive, and then resources, of course.
Zambia is generally described as a friendly nation. Its citizens are warm-hearted and always welcoming. This is perhaps the reason why stand-up comedy has become a part of everyday life by providing a source of relief and recreation.
You can leave home and tell your children, I'm going to work and you're going to do a play. I'm going to work and you're going to do stand-up comedy. So there is actually a lot of opportunity for growth as a career and making money as well. Now people are willing to pay for emceeing. Before now, someone would just look for the funniest guy, like in terms of comedy, someone would just look for the funniest guy in the family and say, you are going to MC at the wedding. They never paid.
While opportunities in the art industry are immense, challenges are many. In Zambia, the growth and attractiveness of the arts industry has, among other things, suffered from weak institutional legal framework. The National Arts Council of Zambia, NSC, is a statutory body established under Act No. 31 of 1994 of the laws of Zambia. The NSC is a crucial institution in the country's artistic arena, but the legal framework governing its operations begs for reforms as it poses a challenge in the growth of the sector.
The act itself, yes, needs to be relooked at, and the structure itself, because right now, National Arts Council, for me, I don't see really how they are really helping the artist on the ground.
Right now we have a problem. Film falls under Ministry of Arts, but we are housed under Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, because what we do is broadcast stuff. So we need to also begin to harmonize that, and how do we reach a standpoint that there's going to be a win-win situation.
Other constraints in the development of the art industry in Zambia over the years have been low levels of entrepreneurial capability and low value addition. Artists believe that the sector is set for growth if capacities for cultural entrepreneurship are strengthened and if new market opportunities are fully identified and exploited.
When you talk about film, just to make a 5-minute movie or short film, you need more than 10,000 kwacha to be realistic. You need more than 10,000 kwacha. That's a short film, not a documentary, because you've got a lot of people to pay, different talents, and you have to pay them. So with that, I'm in a country where we haven't really invested in the film industry, and those are the challenges that we face.
You will never understand art from a technocrat's point of view. Okay, that is why they say artists are sometimes confused people and things like that, because you cannot understand how an artist does his work, envisions certain things, and likes to be treated or managed.
Though the main input in the activities of the sector is human creativity, infrastructure such as performing theaters and studios are vital for production to take place.
Not everyone has a place where they can have has a place at home where there is a good work environment. And sometimes it's just important for you to leave home to go to your workspace, maybe because there's so much going on, and when you're at home, there's so much things to do. So when you get away from that space to go somewhere to work, it's good.
Space is really a challenge. As you see here, it's just it's a backyard here where we are rehearsing, but it's just a passion that makes us move. Space also matters because we would want to accommodate as many young people as possible, but looking at this space here, it's not enough to fill everyone in. So that's a challenge.
The Lusaka Playhouse demarcates us already. Some people will not show up there because they say it's uncomfortable, it's very old. So they marry the kind of performance to how the place looks. If we could have something like Mulungushi Conference Center, but artistic center, the things they have done, OIDC, but it's for artists.
Yande Yombwe, a Livingston-based painter, laments how challenging it is to get materials locally.
You have to look for materials, and sometimes when they run out, you can't do anything because there's nowhere else to get them. Sometimes you have to ship things internationally. So what I can say about the materials is they are generally hard to find.
Noma Kanjani is a Mtendere Township-based contemporary art group that focuses at positive upbringing of young people through cultural dance, music, and acting. Despite the group having produced notable individuals who have now become household names, the group still battles for public support.
When these young people come here to learn some skills, some of the parents will tell them, no, you cannot be an artist. An artist, art will never take you anywhere. Art won't bring anything on your table.
Political will to develop the sector has been there since the First Republic. The Kenneth Kaunda administration established the Department of Cultural Services and gave it the mandate of managing and coordinating official cultural activities. For many years, the department has been shifting from one ministry to another. There has been no specific permanent ministry of the arts within successive government structures. After the Patriotic Front, PF, ascended to power in 2011, President Michael Sata on 10th July 2012 created the Ministry of Tourism and Arts.
To be moved to form this particular ministry called Ministry of Tourism and Arts simply means that we are moving from just recognizing art as a social activity to identifying it as a very strategic, area of the development of the nation in terms of the economy.
Reggae musician Michael Zulu is one of the activists that called for the creation of the Ministry of Arts. He, however, feels there is still more that needs to be done to have a fully fledged sector.
We are yet to see the fruits from the incorporation of the arts in tourism, because as it is, even you journalists, when you are casting news, you say the Minister of Tourism. You forget completely the arts. So it's a by the way still. The arts is still a by the way in the Ministry of Tourism and Arts. I think it's still very negligible.
For the filmmakers, the creation of the Ministry of Tourism and Arts is a sign of government's realization that arts are an economic entity.
That on its own shows that, for the first time, artists are being considered as business players, because we are adding to the GDP of this country. The amount of money that come out from art is immense, and I think we need to really be given that platform in terms of round table talks as viable partners with government.
A political will is there, so it's up to us to take advantage of this this political will to start really pushing out whatever ideas we have to help the government understand it, because it's a new industry, relatively new industry to Zambia. So there needs to be a sort of like the professionals are the ones who have to start educating the politicians to make them understand and see the potential that it has to promote our culture, our tourism, and so on. So I think it's. There is the goodwill from the government and the politicians at the moment.
The evolution of the internet and the digital technology has created an open market for the distribution and sharing of artistic work. However, young and upcoming artists have been warned of the dangers of being excited with the internet.
I advise young people to upload their music on websites that actually sell the music, so that they're able to get a little something out of it.
When they see such kind of a platform, the first thing that every artist wants to do is to try to push something so that they get known. So they're looking at the numbers, but they're forgetting the most important aspect of the art form itself, which is business.
While musicians enjoy easy access to the internet to distribute their works, mostly at no cost, thereby compromising the industry, the filmmakers and visual artists are finding it difficult to distribute their works.
Distribution is generally a problem, because I have some friends who are good at art and are not in Lusaka, for example. How does someone in Kasama, where do they take their artwork? So distribution is a problem. Also, when they're that far, yes, there are there are companies that can courier the artworks, but that's also expense, and these things are delicate. You need to see where you're taking it.
We need marketing and we need distribution. Those are the key elements to make the film industry successful. Right now what happens is that we've got so many productions, but we've got nowhere to distribute them. They're just stuck on our shelves and things like that. So we need to find a way in order for these to be marketed, for these to be distributed, so that they can actually be on screen and Zambian talent can be actually enjoyed.
In recent years, the potential for increasing sustainable socio-economic growth and employment through the art industry in the country has remained untapped.
We need certain elements or certain documentations or certain structures that should strengthen the Zambian film industry so that we can be on an international level. We are on an international level, but we need certain local structures. There's a lot of money in this country.
Film policy, I think, has been a story that we've been talking about for the past, is it 10 years now? Because I remember it was validated in 2012. But to date, we are still talking about its launch. So if that can be launched, I think it's also something that will help us know who are the players and how do we come into play with all the other sectors.
Although the art industry currently contributes meaningfully to job creation, it is perceived as a risk source of income, characterized by unstable work contracts, poor working conditions, and lack of social protection.
We offer all-round therapy that you don't even have to walk into a shrine for. You don't expressly have to pay for. You'll be driving in your car and the musician is singing. And in that song, you hear something that will inspire you even in your work. We are equally important. So what I am looking for, firstly, is that recognition, to be taken seriously, to be accepted as artists, and it is work, not a pastime activity.
Some of the clients that we meet, if you charge them that this is how much we charge, they'll tell you, just for 5 minutes, this is how much you can charge us. This is a lot. But looking at the amount of earnings that we're putting in, the amount of sacrifice that we're putting in, people don't see that. They only see us there performing, but they don't see what we go through.
Maiko Zulu is of the view that comprehensive national legislation is required to regulate the relationship between workers in the art industry and employers. He feels this should be done in order to set up a social protection scheme for artists.
We need to formalize the jobs in the arts industry through the Ministry of Labor. Let's recognize, and when you ask me about the ministry, for me, I would like to see a ministry that is going to facilitate all this. Work with the Ministry of Labor, work with Ministry of Finance, so that the jobs in the industry are formalized. If I'm an engineer, for example, a studio engineer, let that job be formal. Let it be a pensionable job, so that there is a minimum wage also attached to it.
Although the law is advanced in terms of rights, it does not cover artistic or intellectual activities. And to help reduce exploitation of artists, especially filmmakers by media houses and content buyers, the Filmmakers Guild of Zambia was birthed.
We need to help them so that they're not exploited. They have to be paid. If the TV station is broadcasting the content that they produce, they have to be paid. And they don't realize that they have to be paid because they're all excited to get onto TV, and then they think that this is the project, this is the life I want to, this is the type of career I want to go into. But then they realize later on that it doesn't pay, because the industry, we are destroying the industry because we haven't set up the structures and how it's supposed to work, and then the TV stations are exploiting.
The contributions that artists make to economic empowerment, cultural enrichment, and social cohesion in the country are the main reasons to support the principles of cultural sustainable development. In June 2017, the Zambian government approved its 7th National Development Plan 2017 to 2021, whose theme is accelerating development efforts towards the Vision 2030 without leaving anyone behind. Tourism and its linkage through the art industry is one of the priority sectors for the development and potentially a major contributor to advance socio-economic development in Zambia. And recently, government announced a 30 million kwacha stimulus package for the artists. The money, which is a revolving fund in form of a loan, will be handled by the National Arts Council.
Now, we are able even to receive, serious funding from government, because they know now that this transformation makes it easy for the artists now to start thinking positively about business. So we are now receiving that attention from government, and we are able to receive huge chunks of funding. Like you are aware right now, we have received this 30 million kwacha, which is not a grant to give people, to just entertain themselves. It's not a one-off. It is an injection in the business of the arts so that we start growing the industry. And as we go on, government again will be able to realize that no, the business is growing. Just like in many other countries, I think the arts have contributed greatly to employment creation, greatly to the growth of the gross domestic product of the nation.
The package is the first ever to be released by government in the history of the arts in Zambia. And the players in the film industry are happy.
Since I've been in this industry, to me, it's the biggest thing that I've seen towards the arts. And I say, wow, this is very good. And it's wonderful because there are certain young people in the country who have got those skills, abilities, but they need to be trained.
That amount of money was an indication that someone somewhere is saying, can you begin to put yourselves in proper setups where you can begin to access this money? Because it is not supposed to be free money to be given to, oh, come, line up, here is this so much for you, here is this so much for you. When you do that, how are you going to create sustainability? Because now every person will sit quietly and say, I'll wait for another time to go and get the 5 kwacha. Or is it the 10 kwacha that was going to be given? But that on its own is an indication that powers that be are saying, can we begin to work extra hard so that we begin to operate as a business?
However, Filmmakers Guild of Zambia President Lawrence Thompson feels giving media houses the money will be more practical than distributing it to artists.
TV stations and the distributors need to be empowered. And then from there, they must release the money to the producers who are giving them quality content. Because if you're just giving the producer, I'll produce my films, but then if I don't have anywhere to sell it, what's the point? Yeah, so that's my thought on this. So it needs to be carefully thought out, and that's what we're trying to do. That's why we're talking to the broadcasters, and we're trying to look at other distributors, because the TV stations can actually make the money back.
The musicians and contemporary artists are equally excited, but are quick to mention how the money should be used. Peter Tembo and Maiko Zulu feel investing the money in infrastructure will benefit every artist, unlike sharing it among many groups.
I think that money, if it goes to building of infrastructures that will benefit young people, skills-wise, I think that will be a good move.
If I get a loan, I promote my place here, it may just be very few artists or very few young people that benefit from what I've done, as opposed to something that is, say, a media house, for example, for artists.
However, Mr. Samwimbila says only artists that will form cooperatives will have access to the fund. He has also emphasized that the money is an opportunity for artists to grow their businesses and not a free handout.
Let us get hold of this opportunity. Let us come up with project proposals. Let us form or let us establish cooperatives and then come up as groups. You know, one is better. I mean, 2, 3, 4 people are better than one. One mind cannot be compared to many minds. Why? Because when you are 5, 6 of you, you may have different skills put together, and those skills will be able to get us somewhere once you get that loan.
The art industry is a fast-growing economic sector that holds great potential for developing Zambia with its rich traditions of art and other forms of culture and creativity. This will be achieved if effective public policies are in place.
This is where we come to the end of this week's edition of News in Depth, where Macpherson Nukuka has been looking at opportunities and challenges in the art sector. I've been your host, Masauso Mukwayaya. Thank you so much for the privilege of your time. Pleasant viewing.